that population is slowly stabilized and increased to about 120,000. And then providing a little more context, as that population increased, we saw growing and growing demand for people to live here. And in that period of time, over the past few decades, we've also mapped many contextual rezonings, or districts that have preserved the character of the area along with historic districts, which have been incredibly important for preserving the brownstone communities that many of us love and cherish. At the same time, that as population has increased and demand for housing has increased in this area, which is very accessible by transit, close to downtown Brooklyn and lower Manhattan, we've also seen more and more pressure on areas like AAMUP, and then even on Pacific Park Atlantic Ave to help accommodate some of that growth. So we just want to provide this a little context for some of the pressure that we see, both for housing of all types, but particularly affordable housing. Within AAMUP, because of the M11 zoning, we've seen very little change since 1961. These are a few photos to illustrate that. We've seen very little new development except for gas stations, some warehouses, some conversions like 1000 Dean Street, which have been great for converting to offices or studios, but also some conversions of warehouses to self-storage or distribution facilities. Meanwhile, many lots have been just languishing as bus parking or even vacant. Within AAMUP, we estimate about 800 total jobs, which are scattered through a mix of commercial and industrial uses. In the red, you can see those are a mix of office, retail, and auto-related jobs, and then as well as the green as well. And then in purple, which account for about a third of all jobs, are industrial. And those are mainly, what we see are not as much manufacturing, but a lot of construction jobs, many of which the jobs themselves are not on-site, but off-site. And as a trend that we see throughout the city, as well as AAMUP, many industrial jobs are declining, but we see an increase in office and retail-based jobs. All right, so now we're just going to recap a little about our outreach, starting with the amazing work that CB8 has done over the years, beginning with the 2015 resolution on MPRON, and we know that there have been subsequent resolutions as well. We want to recognize a lot of that work, which is focused around ways of cross-subsidizing residential to support both affordable housing and manufacturing use. And then in 2018, we released a framework trying to balance these different goals by creating sub-areas where Atlantic Avenue can be a higher density commercial area while having areas devoted in purple for non-residential, and then stepping down in the blocks to the south for a more mix of uses. As I said, in 2023, we did a lot of outreach. We held 3 larger community workshops, and then 9 working group meetings, which were divided into 3 topic areas, mainly like land use, housing, then jobs, community services, and then lastly, streets, parks, and other public realm. So based on that outreach, later that summer, early fall, we released a community vision and priorities report in collaboration with a steering committee, which I know some of you may be on or involved with. And that report captured the top priorities we heard, which were in, I would say, 3 categories. First, we heard at the top was a need to preserve and create more affordable housing. and then also do that in a thoughtful way that still allows for growth in the neighborhood and the mix of uses along Atlantic Avenue. Second, we heard a need for a coordinated street plan and improving the public realm. How do we do this in a way that creates more open space, improves existing parks? And then lastly, we heard that we need to create opportunities for jobs, particularly those without a college degree and for local residents who feel like they're not benefiting from the development they're seeing around them. So that was a key component, and then related to that was the Bedford Atlantic Armory, which is the largest city-owned facility in the area, and thinking through ways of using that facility, and not just for a men's shelter, but other services that support the community's needs. So based on our outreach, we created a revised land use framework with different sub-areas. And I just want to highlight kind of the key differences here from our work in 2018. First, there was this area between Classen and Franklin Avenue that was designated as an area where we would not allow new residential. We heard very clearly with